Welcome to Frema Audiobooks, where practical wisdom, personal growth, and powerful ideas help you build success, discipline, and a better future. Before we begin, please subscribe to Frema Audiobooks, like this video, and leave a comment below telling us the biggest distraction in your life. Your support helps us continue creating high-quality audiobooks that inspire and transform lives. Today's audiobook explores one of the greatest challenges of modern life: distraction. Never before in history have people had access to so much information, entertainment, and opportunity. Yet many people struggle to focus long enough to achieve their goals. Notifications interrupt concentration. Social media competes for attention. Endless content consumes valuable hours. Important dreams are often delayed by small daily distractions that seem harmless in the moment. The truth is that success rarely depends only on intelligence, talent, or motivation. More often, it depends on the ability to focus on what matters while ignoring what does not. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not necessarily the busiest. They are often the most focused. They protect their time, guard their attention, and develop systems that help them stay committed to meaningful work. In this audiobook, you will discover practical strategies for eliminating distractions, strengthening concentration, increasing productivity, and achieving results faster. Through real-life examples, inspiring stories, and proven principles, you will learn how focus can transform every area of your life. Now, sit back, relax, and let us begin. Now let's start with part 1. Understanding why distractions control modern life. Many people believe they have a time problem when they actually have an attention problem. Because success is rarely determined by how many hours are available, and far more often determined by how those hours are used. The modern world constantly competes for attention. Phones vibrate. Emails arrive. Social media updates appear endlessly. Videos autoplay. News notifications demand immediate attention. As a result, people often spend entire days reacting rather than creating. One business executive once explained that he was busy from morning until evening, but accomplished very little that actually moved his goals forward. His schedule was full, but his attention was scattered. This experience is shared by millions of people who mistake activity for productivity. One of the first steps toward eliminating distractions is understanding that attention is a limited resource. Because every minute spent on something unimportant is a minute unavailable for meaningful work. Successful individuals protect their attention carefully. Consider Warren Buffett, who has often emphasized the importance of saying no to unnecessary commitments. He once explained that the difference between successful people and highly successful people is that highly successful people say no to almost everything. This principle applies directly to distractions. Every unnecessary activity accepted often means an important priority is neglected. Another reason distractions have become so powerful is that many technologies are designed to capture attention. Social media platforms, applications, and digital services compete aggressively for engagement because attention has become valuable. Notifications are designed to create curiosity. Infinite scrolling encourages prolonged usage. Recommendations encourage people to consume more content. Understanding this reality is important because it allows individuals to become more intentional about how they use technology rather than allowing technology to use them. Many successful entrepreneurs and executives intentionally limit notifications, schedule specific times for communication, and create environments that support concentration. Distractions also become powerful because they often provide immediate rewards while meaningful goals require delayed rewards. Watching videos, browsing social media, or checking messages creates instant stimulation. Learning a skill, building a business, writing a book, or studying for an examination often requires effort before rewards become visible. This difference explains why many people struggle with focus. The brain naturally seeks immediate gratification. Successful individuals learn how to prioritize long-term rewards over short-term pleasures. This ability often becomes one of the most important predictors of achievement. Many high performers describe a turning point when they realized how much time they had been losing to distractions. One entrepreneur shared that he tracked his activities for 1 week and discovered that he spent nearly 4 hours each day on activities that contributed nothing to his goals. Another professional realized that constant email checking prevented deep concentration. These experiences demonstrate an important lesson. Many distractions remain invisible until they are measured. Awareness often becomes the first step toward change. Another major source of distraction is unclear goals. Because individuals who lack clear direction often become vulnerable to every interruption that appears. When priorities are uncertain, everything seems important. Successful people frequently describe the importance of clarity. They know what they want to accomplish. They understand their priorities. And they evaluate activities according to whether those activities support or hinder their objectives. Clear goals act like filters. They make it easier to identify distractions because the difference between productive activities and unproductive activities becomes more obvious to many successful individuals. Intentionally create environments that support focus. Writers often work in quiet spaces. Entrepreneurs schedule uninterrupted work periods. Athletes train away from distractions. Consider the working habits of Bill Gates, who became known for taking think weeks away from daily interruptions in order to focus deeply on ideas, reading, and long-term strategy. These examples demonstrate that concentration rarely happens accidentally. It often requires deliberate design and conscious protection. Another lesson comes from students and professionals who transform their results simply by reducing distractions. One university student described turning off social media notifications during study sessions and increasing grades significantly within 1 semester. A business owner implemented scheduled communication periods and discovered that productivity improved dramatically. These examples show that eliminating distractions does not necessarily require working harder. Often it simply requires protecting attention more effectively. Many people also underestimate the emotional impact of distractions. Constant interruptions create stress, reduce satisfaction, and make important work feel more difficult. Deep focus often creates the opposite experience. Individuals become absorbed in meaningful tasks. Progress becomes visible. Confidence increases. And motivation grows naturally. This explains why focused individuals often experience both greater productivity and greater fulfillment. Attention influences not only results, but also emotional well-being. The first lesson of eliminating distractions is understanding that focus is not simply a productivity skill. It is a life skill. Every goal requires attention. Every achievement requires concentration. And every meaningful accomplishment requires the ability to prioritize what matters while ignoring what does not. Once individuals understand how distractions operate and why attention is valuable, they begin gaining the ability to take control of their time, energy, and future. Let's move on to part 2. Building laser focus and protecting your time. One of the most important lessons in achieving results quickly is understanding that multitasking is often a myth. Because while many people believe they are accomplishing more by doing several things at the same time, research and real-world experience repeatedly show that constantly switching attention reduces productivity, increases mistakes, and slows progress. Many successful individuals focus on one important task at a time. Consider how authors write books, how athletes train, and how entrepreneurs build companies. They dedicate periods of uninterrupted concentration to meaningful work. One executive shared that eliminating multitasking increased his productivity more than any productivity application or management technique. The lesson is simple: when attention becomes divided, results often become diluted. Another powerful strategy is identifying your highest value activities, because not every task contributes equally to your goals. Many people spend entire days responding to minor requests, organizing small details, and completing activities that feel productive, but create very little progress. Highly effective people ask a different question: what is the single activity that will create the greatest result? Consider many successful entrepreneurs who spend most of their time on decision-making, strategy, and high-impact activities while delegating lower-value tasks. This principle allows individuals to focus energy where it creates the greatest return. Often, a few important tasks produce most of the meaningful results. Time blocking is another technique frequently used by highly productive individuals, because it creates boundaries around important work. Instead of hoping to find time, successful people schedule time intentionally. They block periods for studying, writing, exercising, business development, or other priorities. During these periods, distractions are minimized and attention is protected. Many executives and business leaders describe their calendars as tools for protecting focus, rather than simply recording appointments. When important work is scheduled intentionally, it becomes less vulnerable to interruptions and procrastination. One of the biggest enemies of focus is constant notification checking, because every interruption forces the brain to switch attention. Many people check messages dozens or even hundreds of times per day without realizing how much concentration is being lost. Consider individuals who disable unnecessary notifications, place their phones in another room, or establish specific communication times. Many report dramatic improvements in productivity and reduced stress. One entrepreneur explained that simply checking email 3 times per day instead of continuously allowed him to complete projects faster and think more clearly. Small changes often produce significant improvements. Another essential principle is learning how to say no, because every commitment accepted consumes time, energy, and attention. Many people become overwhelmed not because they lack time, but because they have agreed to too many obligations. Successful individuals understand that saying yes to everything often means saying no to important goals. Consider the advice frequently associated with Warren Buffett, who emphasized that highly successful people say no to most opportunities. This principle applies not only to business but also to daily distractions. Protecting focus often requires declining activities that do not align with long-term objectives. Many people struggle with distractions because they attempt to rely entirely on motivation. But motivation naturally rises and falls. Systems often work better than willpower. Consider someone who places their phone in another room during work sessions, uses website blockers, or creates a dedicated workspace. These systems reduce the need for constant self-control because the environment supports the desired behavior. Athletes use routines. Writers use schedules. Entrepreneurs use systems. Consistent environments often create consistent results. Another important lesson comes from understanding energy management rather than focusing only on time management. People have periods during the day when concentration and energy are strongest. Some work best in the morning. Others perform better later in the day. Highly productive individuals often schedule important tasks during their highest energy periods and reserve lower energy periods for routine activities. One business owner described completing his most important work before checking messages or attending meetings. This simple change dramatically improved productivity because his best energy was directed toward his most important priorities. Real life examples repeatedly demonstrate the power of focused effort. One student preparing for examinations decided to study for 90-minute periods without interruptions and improved grades significantly within 1 semester. Another professional limited social media usage to specific times and recovered several hours each day. A small business owner began, dedicating uninterrupted morning sessions to strategic work and doubled company revenue within 2 years. These examples show that extraordinary results often come from ordinary people who simply eliminate distractions and focus consistently on what matters most. Many successful creators and innovators also emphasize the importance of solitude and reflection. Consider how some leaders schedule quiet thinking time to evaluate goals, make decisions, and plan future actions. Constant stimulation often prevents deep thinking. By creating moments of silence, individuals gain clarity and improve decision-making. This practice allows ideas to develop and priorities to become clearer. In a world filled with noise, the ability to think quietly becomes a competitive advantage. Ultimately, protecting your time means protecting your future, because every hour invested in meaningful work moves you closer to your goals, while every unnecessary distraction moves you further away. Time is the one resource that cannot be replaced. Money lost can often be earned again. Opportunities missed can sometimes return. But time spent carelessly is gone forever. The people who achieve results quickly are rarely those with more hours. They are the ones who use their hours with greater intention, stronger focus, and unwavering commitment to what truly matters. Asterisk. Now let's move on to part 3, overcoming procrastination and taking immediate action. Asterisk. One of the greatest obstacles to success is not lack of intelligence, lack of talent, or lack of opportunity. It is procrastination, because countless dreams remain unfinished, not because people are incapable, but because they continually postpone the actions that would move them forward. Many individuals wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the perfect motivation before they begin. Unfortunately, those conditions rarely arrive. Successful people understand that action creates motivation far more often than motivation creates action. One entrepreneur explained that the most important lesson he learned was to start before he felt ready. That single decision eventually transformed his entire life because progress began the moment he stopped waiting. Another important lesson is understanding that procrastination often comes from fear rather than laziness. People fear failure. They fear criticism. They fear making mistakes. And they fear not being good enough. As a result, they delay taking action because postponement feels safer than facing uncertainty. Many successful people have spoken openly about experiencing fear while building businesses, changing careers, or pursuing difficult goals. The difference is not that they felt no fear. The difference is that they acted despite fear. Consider the countless entrepreneurs who launched businesses without guarantees of success. Their willingness to move forward despite uncertainty often became the foundation of their achievements. One of the most effective ways to eliminate procrastination is breaking large goals into smaller actions. Because large projects often feel overwhelming while small actions feel manageable. Writing a book seems difficult. Writing one page seems possible. Starting a business feels intimidating. Making one phone call feels achievable. Studying for an examination may appear stressful. Reviewing one chapter feels reasonable. Many high achievers focus on immediate actions rather than distant outcomes. This approach reduces resistance and creates momentum. Once momentum develops, continuing often becomes easier than stopping. Another powerful strategy is applying the principle of immediate action. Because the longer individuals delay important tasks, the more difficult those tasks often become. One executive shared that whenever a task required less than 5 minutes, he completed it immediately. This habit prevented small responsibilities from accumulating into overwhelming burdens. Many successful individuals practice similar approaches. They understand that action creates clarity. Waiting often creates anxiety. The sooner important tasks begin, The sooner progress becomes visible and confidence starts growing. Many people procrastinate because they seek perfection. But perfection frequently becomes the enemy of progress. Consider how many books were never written because the author wanted every sentence to be perfect. Consider how many businesses were never launched because the founder wanted every detail to be flawless. Successful individuals understand that improvement happens through action. The first version is rarely the final version. The first attempt is rarely the best attempt. But progress cannot occur without beginning. One writer explained that the secret to finishing books was accepting that early drafts would be imperfect. That acceptance allowed work to continue instead of remaining trapped by unrealistic expectations. Another important lesson comes from the daily routines of successful individuals. Many highly productive people begin their mornings by completing their most important task before allowing distractions to enter their day. They avoid checking social media, unnecessary messages, or minor activities until meaningful work has been completed. One business owner described spending the first 2 hours of every morning focused entirely on company growth. Over several years, those daily sessions produced remarkable results. This example demonstrates how small daily habits often create extraordinary long-term outcomes. Real-life examples consistently show the power of taking action quickly. A university student who had delayed preparing for professional examinations finally created a daily study schedule and passed within 1 year. An employee who had dreamed of starting a side business spent 1 hour each evening building the business and eventually generated enough income to leave a traditional job. A writer who struggled with procrastination committed to writing only 500 words each day and eventually completed an entire book. These stories remind us that major accomplishments often begin with very small actions repeated consistently. Another important strategy is removing the emotional burden attached to difficult tasks. Many people tell themselves that certain activities must feel enjoyable before they can begin. In reality, important work often becomes enjoyable after progress starts. Exercise feels difficult before beginning but rewarding afterward. Studying may feel challenging initially but satisfying once understanding improves. Business development may feel uncomfortable at first but exciting once results appear. Successful people learn to act according to priorities rather than emotions. They understand that feelings change, but important goals remain. Many successful individuals also use accountability to overcome procrastination. They share goals with mentors, coaches, friends, or colleagues who encourage progress and provide support. Accountability creates external motivation during periods when internal motivation is weak. Athletes use coaches. Entrepreneurs use mentors. Students join study groups. These relationships create structure and increase the likelihood of consistent action. One entrepreneur explained that weekly meetings with a mentor helped him remain committed during difficult periods when giving up would have been easier. Ultimately, eliminating procrastination requires understanding that action creates results, while waiting creates regret. Every important goal requires movement. Every dream requires effort. And every achievement begins with the willingness to take the first step before certainty exists. The people who achieve results quickly are not always the most talented or the most intelligent. They are often the individuals who act while others hesitate, who begin while others prepare endlessly, and who continue while others become discouraged. Action transforms possibilities into realities, and it remains one of the most powerful antidotes to distraction and delay. Let's move on to part 4. Creating habits that produce results faster. One of the most important discoveries made by successful people is that results are rarely created by occasional bursts of motivation and are far more often the result of daily habits. Because motivation changes from day to day while habits continue operating even when enthusiasm disappears. Many people wait until they feel inspired before taking action. But highly productive individuals create routines that allow progress to continue regardless of their emotions. Consider athletes who train even when they do not feel motivated, or writers who continue writing despite difficult days. Their success is built on systems rather than feelings. The same principle applies to eliminating distractions. When productive habits become automatic, the need for constant self-discipline decreases, and consistent progress becomes possible. One powerful habit is starting each day with clear priorities. Because many people begin their mornings by checking messages, social media, or news updates, and then spend the rest of the day reacting to other people's demands. Highly productive individuals often do the opposite. They identify the most important task before the day begins, and commit to completing it before allowing distractions to take control. One executive described writing down his 3 most important priorities every evening so that he could begin working immediately the next morning. This simple habit dramatically improved his productivity because it eliminated uncertainty and created direction from the very beginning of the day. Another important habit is creating routines that reduce decision fatigue, because every decision consumes mental energy. Successful individuals often simplify repetitive decisions so they can reserve their energy for important work. Consider how some entrepreneurs follow consistent morning routines, schedule specific work periods, and organize their environments to reduce unnecessary choices. By creating structure, they free mental resources for creativity, problem-solving, and meaningful tasks. Many successful people have explained that routines increase productivity because they reduce distractions and create momentum. One of the most effective habits for achieving results quickly is working in focused periods, because the human mind performs best when attention remains uninterrupted. Many professionals use focused work sessions followed by short breaks to maintain energy and concentration. One student preparing for competitive examinations described studying in 90-minute sessions with all distractions removed. Over several months, productivity improved dramatically because attention remained concentrated. These focused periods allowed deeper thinking, higher quality work, and faster progress than constant interruptions ever could. Another valuable habit is keeping your environment organized, because physical clutter often creates mental clutter. Workspaces filled with distractions make concentration more difficult. Many successful individuals intentionally design environments that support focus. They remove unnecessary objects, minimize interruptions, and create spaces associated with productive work. One writer explained that simply cleaning and organizing his workspace improved his ability to concentrate. Environment influences behavior, and small changes can create significant improvements in attention and efficiency. Many people underestimate the importance of sleep, exercise, and physical health, yet these factors strongly influence focus and productivity. Fatigue reduces concentration. Poor health decreases energy. Lack of sleep weakens decision-making. Successful individuals often view physical health as an investment in performance. Athletes understand this naturally, but entrepreneurs, executives, and professionals increasingly recognize that energy is one of their most valuable resources. One business owner explained that improving sleep habits increased productivity more than any productivity application or time management system. When the body performs better, the mind often follows. Another important habit is reviewing progress regularly, because measurement creates awareness and awareness creates improvement. Many financially successful individuals track expenses. Athletes track performance. Students track grades. Highly productive people often track goals, habits, and progress. One entrepreneur reviewed weekly accomplishments every Sunday evening and used that information to plan the following week. This simple habit helped identify distractions, maintain motivation, and ensure that daily activities remained aligned with long-term objectives. Progress becomes easier when individuals know exactly where they stand. Real-life examples consistently demonstrate the power of small habits. One office employee committed to reading 20 pages every morning before work and completed dozens of books over several years. Another individual spent 1 hour every evening learning a new skill and eventually changed careers. A small business owner dedicated 30 minutes each day to business development and gradually built a successful company. None of these actions appeared extraordinary at the beginning, but their consistency created remarkable results. These stories remind us that success often emerges from ordinary habits practiced for extraordinary lengths of time. Many successful individuals also emphasize the importance of protecting mornings, because the first hours of the day often influence everything that follows. Some people exercise early. Others read, meditate, plan, or work on important projects before distractions begin. One entrepreneur described mornings as his golden hours because his energy, focus, and creativity were strongest during that period. By protecting those hours from distractions, he achieved more in a few focused hours than he previously accomplished in an entire day. This example illustrates the importance of aligning habits with personal energy and priorities. Ultimately, habits determine results because they shape how time, energy, and attention are used every day. The individuals who achieve results quickly are not necessarily working longer hours or making greater sacrifices. More often, they have developed habits that eliminate distractions, strengthen focus, and support consistent action. Success becomes easier when productive behaviors become automatic. Small actions repeated daily eventually become powerful routines. And those routines often become the foundation of extraordinary achievements. Now let's move on to part 5. Mastering your mind and staying focused under pressure. Asterisk. One of the greatest challenges in modern life is not simply avoiding distractions, but maintaining focus when life becomes stressful. Because pressure often causes people to abandon routines, lose motivation, and return to habits that provide comfort rather than progress. Many individuals perform well when conditions are easy, but struggle when obstacles appear. Highly successful people learn how to maintain discipline even during difficult periods. Consider athletes who continue training despite setbacks, entrepreneurs who continue building businesses during economic uncertainty, or students who continue studying despite failures. Their success often comes not from avoiding pressure, but from learning how to perform under it. Another important lesson is understanding that emotions can become powerful distractions. Fear, anxiety, frustration, anger, and self-doubt often consume more attention than phones, television, or social media. One entrepreneur explained that his greatest distraction was not technology but worry. He spent countless hours thinking about problems instead of solving them. Many successful individuals eventually learn to separate emotions from actions. They acknowledge their feelings but continue taking productive steps. This ability allows them to remain focused even when emotions become intense. The lesson is simple. Emotions deserve attention, but they should not always control decisions. Many people become distracted because they compare themselves constantly to others. Social media often makes this problem worse because people see the highlights of other people's lives while comparing them to their own struggles and challenges. This comparison creates frustration, impatience, and discouragement. Successful individuals often focus on personal progress rather than external comparisons. Consider how athletes measure improvement against previous performances or entrepreneurs. Compare current results to past achievements. This approach creates motivation because progress becomes personal. The goal becomes becoming better than yesterday rather than competing with everyone else. Another important strategy is learning how to recover quickly after mistakes. Because everyone experiences setbacks, distractions, and unproductive days. The difference is that highly focused people do not allow one bad day to become one bad week or one bad month. One student described missing several days of study and initially feeling discouraged. Instead of giving up entirely, he returned to his routine the next day and continued moving forward. This ability to recover quickly prevents small mistakes from becoming major failures. Progress does not require perfection. It requires persistence. Many successful individuals use visualization to strengthen focus, because the mind often performs better when goals become clear and meaningful. Athletes visualize performances. Speakers visualize presentations. Entrepreneurs imagine future businesses. Visualization creates emotional connection with goals and helps maintain motivation during difficult periods. One business owner described keeping written goals and pictures representing his future plans in his office. These reminders helped him remain focused during periods of uncertainty. When people remember why they are working, distractions often lose much of their power. Another valuable lesson is the importance of protecting your mental environment. Just as physical clutter can create distractions, negative information, toxic relationships, and constant criticism can weaken focus and motivation. Many successful individuals carefully choose the information they consume and the people they spend time with. They seek encouraging environments, constructive relationships, and positive influences. One entrepreneur explained that reducing exposure to negative news and surrounding himself with growth-oriented people dramatically improve his productivity and optimism. Mental environments often influence results more than people realize. Real life examples consistently show that resilience creates long-term success. Consider individuals who failed examinations before eventually succeeding. Entrepreneurs who experienced failed businesses before building profitable companies. Or professionals who faced rejection before achieving career success. Their stories share a common theme. They continued despite difficulties. One investor described losing money during his first years, but continuing to study, learn, and improve. Eventually, experience replaced uncertainty, and confidence replaced fear. These stories remind us that distractions and setbacks are temporary when determination remains strong. Another important habit is practicing gratitude, because gratitude shifts attention away from what is missing and toward what is already working. Many highly productive individuals begin or end their days by reflecting on progress, opportunities, and positive experiences. This practice reduces stress and increases motivation because it creates perspective. One professional explained that gratitude helped him remain focused during difficult periods, because it reminded him of how much progress had already been made. Positive thinking alone does not create success, but gratitude often provides the emotional stability necessary to continue working toward important goals. Many people wait for confidence before taking action, but confidence often develops after action. Consider public speakers who initially felt nervous but became comfortable through repeated experience. Consider entrepreneurs who began with uncertainty but gained confidence through practice and results. The same principle applies to focus and productivity. The more individuals eliminate distractions and complete meaningful work, the more confidence they develop in their ability to achieve results. This confidence then reinforces future action, creating a cycle of progress and growth. Ultimately, mastering your mind is one of the most powerful ways to eliminate distractions and achieve results quickly. External distractions may always exist, but internal discipline determines whether those distractions gain control. The individuals who succeed are not necessarily those who face fewer challenges. They are often those who maintain focus despite challenges. They continue moving forward despite setbacks, and they remain committed to their goals despite temporary difficulties. Mental strength becomes the foundation that allows all other productivity habits to function effectively over the long term. Asterisk. Now let's move on to the final conclusion. The power of focus and action. Asterisk. As we come to the end of this audiobook, remember that the greatest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is often not intelligence, talent, education, or opportunity. The greatest difference is usually focus. In a world filled with distractions, The ability to concentrate on what truly matters has become one of the most valuable skills a person can develop. Every major achievement, every successful business, every completed project, every mastered skill, and every accomplished goal begins with focused attention applied consistently over time. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not necessarily doing more things. Very often, they are simply doing fewer things with greater concentration, discipline, and commitment. Throughout history, highly successful individuals have repeatedly demonstrated the power of eliminating distractions. Consider the work habits of Bill Gates, who regularly separated himself from distractions during his famous Think Weeks to focus deeply on ideas and long-term strategy. Consider Warren Buffett, who carefully protects his schedule and says no to countless opportunities so that he can focus on what truly matters. Their success reminds us that focus is not simply about working harder. It is about protecting attention and directing energy toward activities that create meaningful results. Many ordinary people have experienced extraordinary transformations simply by eliminating distractions. Students have improved grades after reducing social media usage. Entrepreneurs have built successful businesses by dedicating focused hours each day to important work. Professionals have advanced their careers by investing time in learning new skills instead of consuming endless entertainment. One business owner explained that limiting distractions gave him back nearly 3 hours every day. Over several years, those recovered hours became new skills, improved income, and greater financial security. Small changes often create extraordinary long-term results. Another powerful lesson is that distractions rarely disappear completely. The world will continue offering entertainment, notifications, interruptions, and endless demands for attention. The goal is not to eliminate every distraction perfectly. The goal is to become strong enough, disciplined enough, and focused enough to choose your priorities intentionally. Every time you choose meaningful work over unnecessary distraction, you strengthen your future. Every time you protect your attention, you protect your goals. And every time you complete an important task, you build confidence that carries into future challenges. Remember that success is often hidden inside ordinary daily actions. One focused hour each day can become a completed book. 1 hour of study can become a new career. 1 hour of exercise can improve health. 1 hour invested in a business can create financial freedom. Many people underestimate what small daily actions can accomplish over months and years. Yet history repeatedly shows that consistency often defeats intensity. Small efforts performed every day frequently outperform large efforts performed occasionally. If distractions control your attention, they may eventually control your future. But if you learn to control your attention, protect your time, and focus your energy on meaningful goals, remarkable results become possible. The life you want is often built one focused day at a time. As you leave this audiobook, make a commitment to yourself. Identify the distractions that steal your time. Remove the habits that weaken your focus. Protect your most valuable hours. Work on your most important goals. And remember that progress does not require perfection. It requires consistency. The future belongs to those who can remain focused while others become distracted, who continue acting while others procrastinate, and who stay committed while others give up. Thank you for listening to Frema Audiobooks and investing this time in your growth, your discipline, and your future success. If this audiobook helped you, make sure to subscribe to Frema Audiobooks, like this video, share it with someone, and leave a comment below telling us which lesson had the greatest impact on your life. Your support helps us continue creating powerful audiobooks that inspire people around the world to focus deeply, act consistently, and achieve extraordinary results one day at a time.